See the other side. In a holy water time. We all gonna be alright. Good morning. I can't. Anybody's in here. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, my mic was not on. Can you guys see me and hear me? I think my mic is on now. Good morning. I'm gonna stay on probably about an hour and a half. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let me go back up here. Get started. Has Daisy got any messages for me? Message from Daisy. There's almost a message here, finding a different way to give yourself closure for a situation that you were waiting for a conversation about. It's almost like there's a need to give yourself closure a different way. Not that that conversation is never going to happen, but there's a need to kind of fill in the blanks in a different way in the meantime. Will my mother-in-law's house sell by the end of the year? I just messed that deck up. Will my mother-in-law's house sell by the end of the year? I feel within a year, that could mean kind of close to the end of the year, but maybe not necessarily by like December 31st. It feels like things are moving a little bit more slowly, but then it's going to happen all at once. And then there's contracts signed in her favor. So I would say within a year, maybe like the beginning of 2025 kind of feels significant. Does my mom have a message for me? Every Day by Buddy Holly and the Crickets is the song. Going faster than a roller coaster. 8 of Cups, 3 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands. Whatever situation you're in right now that feels very dark, desolate is kind of the word that I'm picking up on. You're going to start to see the light soon. There's this feeling of calling in what you need, whether that's support, whether that's a solution, whether that's some kind of forward progress. It almost feels like this bungee cord is holding you back right now, and that's going to soon be resolved. Should I stay working in a school number 20? If you want to keep putting up with the one thing that's bothering you about it, it feels like there's something that you don't love about it, whether that's like your coworkers, whether that's your schedule, whether that's your pay. It's like, how big of a deal is that thing? Because it does feel like there is an opportunity to go towards something that element wouldn't be an issue. But I would say don't jump ship until you have that other opportunity lined up. It kind of just depends. Almost like the message is whatever that thing is that you don't love about it isn't necessarily going to get better anytime soon. So how big of a deal is that part to you? Focus for me for November. The Tower and Strength and Queen of Swords. Interesting. standing 10 toes down on what you know to be true, or what it's kind of giving the message of like, ask the questions and get the answers. And if you don't understand the answer, ask more questions. It's almost like this like fighter spirit energy. Um the Tower came out first, so I do feel like November is a lot of fears being addressed by stepping into some kind of like communication element. So like, it's speech is important when it comes to overcoming the feeling of this tower. My mother passed last year. Any messages from her? So this is a feeling of defeat, a feeling of being very overwhelmed by your emotions. It feels like that's where you are right now in regard to this still. Six of Swords is going into calmer waters, and Six of Wands is a celebration or a victory. So the message is here. It's always darkest before the dawn. I feel like past last year, I feel like you're nervous about this holiday season, but she'll be right there to support you through that. You're going to find strength that you didn't know you had, is the message. Let me get a song. Nope, that's not it. One second. Kokomo by the Beach Boys. Token and a song. Retcon by Dylan Andre. It's a piece of cheese. And retcon starts with quiet the room, allow me to speak. There's cheese. Justice, Five of Swords. There's some kind of conversation that's going to maybe feel like it's pulling you to try and see something from another person's perspective, but the message is that your perspective is right for you. You don't have to bend for somebody else's understanding. It's almost like there's holes in the perspective of another person. So there's a need to commit to what you know is right in this conversation, and not allow projections from someone else to confuse you. Is kind of how it feels. Who are my spirit guides? This makes me think of okay, so I was thinking of you being a kid in this one, and then the devil came out. So now it's making me feel like some kind of childhood trauma. It feels like this is a guide that's been with you since that time. Judgment is the angel over this feeling of defeat. I almost want to say, like, look for the patterns between when you felt this feeling of defeat as a child, where there was some kind of trauma. Almost like you can figure out exactly who the guide is by looking at the patterns that have shown up. Like, let's say certain number patterns or certain colors that have been prominent or important. You type that into Google and say what spirit guides or what angels would align with these signs. And it feels like it would be very obvious at that with what patterns have repeated. Should I be meeting this military guy this weekend? Could he be my person? I would say it like this. Allow yourself to take it one step at a time and not try and it's almost like there's a need right now in order to overcome a specific wound to allow yourself to not try and figure out too many steps ahead in the future. I do feel like you should meet him. It's someone who is coming up to you with this like you can trust my offer. So like if I'm not interested, I will tell you. If I am, I will pursue you like respectfully is the energy there. But I would say there's a lesson here to not get too far ahead of yourself with it, especially if it feels good. You know what I mean? So I think it would be beneficial to go, but keep yourself in the moment and not 10 steps ahead of it. Hold on, I have to fix my mouse. Okay. Any insight to significant events for me for November and December? It feels more like preparing for significant events. Like this is the preparation phase. This is drawing of the blueprint. This is organizing of the plans. I almost wonder if because of all the holidays and stuff, it may feel like you are a little distracted from what you are focusing on right now, like as you go into November and December. Like right now you're trying to make changes and it's almost like other stuff is back up maybe in January with those changes or enacting those changes. So I feel like allow yourself to be patient with the planning process because it's important for the next step. Is my daughter Irina okay? No drugs or alcohol? Is she okay? Yes. Okay, so depending on her age, if she's underage, I feel like there may be people around her who are drinking or doing things, but not her. If she's of age, I feel like there may be some drinking, but it doesn't seem to be as far as being an issue. So I guess it depends on underage or not, but it does feel like there's almost like this resistance to energy around her. Um, Almost like she likes to know what to expect or have some kind of control. So I don't feel like anything is going drastically in a bad direction, but it's more like um making proper choices, but being presented with some kind of temptation. What's happening with my health? Feels like your body's trying to fight something. See the different masks that they're all wearing or different costumes? It's like something that you would think is one thing is actually your okay. Something you would think is like innately wrong is actually your body trying to fight something that there's a solution to. This makes me think of some kind of treatment or medication. I was like holding that up, and then this is taking action. So it feels like there's action you can take to fight this, but it feels like your body's fighting something almost that it can't figure out exactly what it's fighting. So it's trying different ways to fight that thing, if that makes sense. I would say if you're considering going getting some kind of checkup, I would do that because there's a solution. All of the October readings were sent out by yesterday and the day before. So if you didn't get yours, email me, thereckoning.ak@gmail.com. Apparently, there's a family secret concerning me. Can you see what this is? Family secret. A decision that someone you're connected to, but not on the same level with. And by level, I mean, I guess, age or generation. So probably someone in an older generation than you that made a decision for you. It's like I'm making this decision to not give you the necessary information about something, and I'm convincing myself that I'm protecting your heart from it. Um, it almost feels like something that happened outside of the home when you were younger is kind of what I'm getting. I don't know if you went to like a camp or like a some kind of structured environment has something to do with it, but that's not the secret. I don't know how that translates. Some kind of structured environment has something to do like with the secret, but is not the secret. That's what I'm getting. Hopefully that makes some bit of sense. I'm so frightened and lonely as we don't have outside support at all or nothing to fall back on. I have 2 sons who are very sick. One married son is estranged. Will be united. Will we be united, and how is our future? Support all or nothing to fall back on. 2 sons who are very sick. One married is estranged. I feel like with the estranged son, I feel like there is some forward progress, but it's up in the future. I don't know if that's the one is married. Son is I don't know if the married one is the estranged one, but I'm almost wondering if it's like the partner or there's some kind of influence that's keeping the estranged part going longer than maybe he would otherwise. So it does feel like there's eventually some forward progress with that. 2 sons who are very sick. It feels like with the 6 sons, almost like once you find the right person, solutions come more quickly or progress comes more quickly. I kind of want to say like don't accept a lack of answers for answers. It feels like there's a different angle to approach what's going on from, but it may for some reason require with that 3 of Wands some kind of travel, like traveling further to get different answers is kind of how it feels. I know you said you don't have an outside support, so I'm almost wondering if there's something that like government wise could support you, like something you apply for that would help with maybe travel or testing or something like that. It feels like there's answers that are further a distance. However that would translate. Oh no. Let me go to this list for a minute. Happy birthday, Danny. Everyone say happy birthday to Danny. Birthday message for today. The Lovers, the Tower, 9 of Cups. Whatever decision you just made is going to have wider effects than you would think. It's almost like a decision you made has hooked something onto a fishing line, and now you're going to begin to. Why is this so foggy? And now you're going to begin to reel it in. It feels like the birthday message is that this is a gift that you gave to yourself that you're not going to see yet, but you're meant to know about. Did my guides put the ladybug in my room? Committed action. This looks like a little person coming out of like a trumpet. Trumpet would be a message. This would be going into the room. The Emperor, 8 of Pentacles. I would say it's an alignment that's meant to show you something that relates to your guides. Has my dynamic with leadership changed? I feel that it has, but I could always be Delulu. 9 of Pentacles, Temperance. It's kind of giving keeping at arm's distance, like them keeping you at arm's distance, or like this feeling of them, I guess calculated would be the word. Like because this is independence and this is the Hermit, so this is independence, and they're both on either sides of this balance. So it's like, how can we maintain the balance? I'm thinking a lot. If I'm your leadership people, I'm thinking a lot more about how do I maintain the balance while keeping us over there and you over here type of thing. Is there anything I can do to better my situation with CS? I Didn't Know by Ivan B. I wonder if you think about the things we could have been, barely knew each other, all the things we said and did. It feels like there's a need for clarity here. It's kind of giving like lay it all out on the table type thing from both angles, almost like having the conversation is hard, but also having the lack of clarity is hard. So choose your hard type of thing. It feels like there's a lot of fogginess and there needs to be a foundation of clarity built on that where each of you can communicate what's been on your minds. Oh, thank you, Linda. Pull one of these for you. If you truly want to grow, heal, and evolve, you have to let go of wanting to be liked. I feel like this has to do with the message that I said communication. Stand like 10 toes down in your communication or saying something or to be true. It feels like you are going through this transformation that is painful because it feels like you're losing that cocoon, but it also makes way for the evolution that comes from that. Do 2 more here and then go to the other list. And I'm also going to close super chats because I don't know how long I'm going to stay on. I'll close them in a couple minutes. When will my health improve? I feel like right now you're rebuilding the foundation brick by brick, and it's almost like you'll build a couple bricks and then a storm will come and knock over those bricks, and then you have to rebuild the bricks. It's almost like you just need to get a break so that the whatever that's called, that they lay the concrete, I guess, that they lay in between the bricks can dry, and it feels like that's not happening. It like keeps not happening that way. So it feels like it's something that's going to take a little bit. And almost like the more you focus on the little things and the building up of that foundation, eventually the longer you'll have in between storms so that you can continue to build on the foundation. So it feels like it's an uphill battle, but it also feels like you're making progress. Like you're walking up these steps. So it's not a flat surface and it's kind of all over the place in terms of the rocks. I didn't even realize that I was talking about the bricks, and those are bricks. I would say there's need to be patient with yourself right now. Yesterday, I asked about my black candle reaching the fierce, and you mentioned it's going directly to spirit entity. Who's the candle reaching? Because I'm unsure. 3 of Cups, 6 of Cups. Communication. Someone that you've been connected to, that you've worked with as a team. It feels like a specific shadow wound that you have or have overcome would make sense about exactly what spirit or entity that connects to. So almost like typing in the shadow wound that has been the most uphill battle for you, and then type into Google or like Chat GPT or something who would connect most with this wound, and it's like the one you recognize from that list. Let me go back to this. Oh, let me close these. I go back to this list. Where am I? Hold on. It's my son's birthday next Friday, turning 5. 1 second. Initiation by water. Merkaba, spiritual protection. Initiation by water. It feels like he's someone who's going to grow up and be very empathetic towards others. And it feels like almost like there's this message of someone looking over him is what I'm getting with this. It's like there's this guidance or this protection, because whatever his empathy is meant to do, and that empathy can show up as like emotions, or for some reason I'm feeling like the empathy that he will embody has something to do with logic. So maybe there may be something that he's really good at that when he's older that helps others evolve their mindset or something like that. Whatever, he's meant to have some kind of ripple effect in this lifetime, and he's looked over because of that. Looked after because of that, not looked over. Message and a token. It's a kite with number 31. Five of Wands, the sun and the moon, and a kite. That's like Let It Go. That song from Frozen, that's like let it go, let it go. There's something that either you're battling with yourself about, or there's something about that's like a battle with another individual. But if you could just get them to see it your way, the battle will be solved. There's a need to like put down that burden of whatever it is that you're battling with yourself about. It's like quite literally letting it go. It's like you string, but it's pulling too hard. So if you just let go of the string, it won't be hurting your hand to grip onto it. Does my husband have a message for me? It's Still Rock and Roll to Me by Billy Joel. Ace of Wands, the star, Queen of Wands. He's guiding you to remember almost like his funny side or like his lighthearted side. It almost feels like if you can bring up some of those memories, it will help you release some kind of heaviness that you've been feeling emotionally. Almost like this energy of like, okay, I don't know where this is going, but do you know how they say if a tree falls in the forest, does anybody hear it? It's like he's saying that you're feeling like there's all of this that you're carrying on your own, feeling like nobody would really understand, but he's there to understand you through it. And something about remembering either his comedic side or like the lighthearted times would help you connect with that energy, if that makes sense. It would help you remember that you're not alone in those feelings, is I think a better way to word that. Do you see anything you can share with me? Devil, Four of Swords, 10 of Wands. It feels like there's a mindset that needs to be broken through, almost like a limited perspective of something that's holding you back and making you feel like you have less options than you do because of something that's either a projection or a fear of that's not yours to carry. The message is kind of coming across as the shadow is only as scary as you tell yourself it is. And in facing it, you'll realize that you had the power over it. It never had the power over you. What would help me most to hear? Interesting. Knight of Swords, Queen of Swords, King of Swords. Let's see if Page of Swords comes out. No, Eight of Pentacles. Okay. There needs to be a commitment to merging the different aspects of yourself is how it feels. See how it's like she has the mountain behind her, but he has it off to his side and he's like flying over the mountain. It's like there's different perspectives that would be helpful to bridge together right now to regain some kind of security or stability. So it's almost like thinking of lessons from the past, how they've played out recently, and how you can utilize them going forward. Something like that, for example. There's a repeated theme that's important right now that's playing over and over, and it feels to be repeating until you complete that cycle and utilize the wisdom from it. When is the right time for me to buy a house? Should I buy in the state I live in now or where? When is the right time? I feel like this is speed and this is patience. So it's almost like this energy of like hurry up and wait. So I feel like starting to get everything put into place, like ducks in a row type of thing, and then you'll know when you see it, but not in a rush. So almost like put your feelers out there, get at your budget set or whatever else needs to happen, and then kind of just not rush into it. But when the exact right thing comes along, then you'll know it's time. Um, I do feel like there's something in the planning that's going through different phases right now. And I'm wondering if that's the state you live in now or where. State you live in now. I feel like you're being guided to start to look in other places. But again, it kind of feels like you'll know when you see it thing. Like as you start to put the pieces in place, you'll start to see where the opportunity is that's going to be the deciding factor. Maybe that's career. Like where could you find what you need in that area type of thing and then go with the flow in that direction because you're not in the rushed energy. May I please have a focus for me for November? Queen of Wands, Queen of Cups, Seven of Swords. It's like not allowing your heart to put you in situations where you're going to be giving too much and not almost like protecting your emotions. It feels like there's a situation that is going some way when it comes to other people, but it's like testing you in the way of, are you going to know when enough is enough or when to pull back or when to protect your peace? If it costs you your peace, it's too expensive. Any messages for me? It feels like there's a need to get clear about what it is that you do want here because you have 9 and 9. You have the opportunity to shift either how you're making money or something in your day-to-day routine. It's like you have an opportunity to shift into what you need that you've been waiting for. It does feel financial, but there's a need to pick what it is that you want to focus on or pick which changes you want to focus on first. It feels like there's a lot happening very quickly and there's almost this need to like take inventory so you can see exactly where your energy is being spread because there's an opportunity that may be being missed right now for some kind of ease or like solution. I just moved to a new city. I just want to know if I made the right move and will me and my daughters be okay. I feel like you're leaving behind this Five of Cups energy. Either it was very difficult for you to make the decision to actually do this. Like you might have had a lot of like, almost feels like right now you have a bit of like buyer's remorse where you're like, oh okay, like don't know if I maybe jumped into something too quickly or maybe I didn't think everything through. But it does feel like you made the right decision and in time you'll see that. It feels like It feels especially like you made the best decision for your children. That's what I'm getting with this Ace of Cups, because this is like the holy grail. So that would be like the what's most important to you. It feels like you may have put yourself into a position where you have to make certain sacrifices to be where you're at. But in time, you'll see that you made the right sacrifices and you'll start to rebuild because you made the right decision for the children. Will Abdullah agree to our terms? Oh, so yes, but it feels like yes, but there's a potential to like try and get more for herself. Like, let me throw this out there to see if I can make it more even for me or more fair for me. And then if you say no, I go with it type of thing. So there may be that, like a little resistance in that way, but it feels like eventually, yes, goes with it. Are B and I finally separating for good this month after last night's convo? Going in different directions now. Yeah, you're going in different directions now. Look, one wants to hold on and one wants to let go. Or it's almost like each of you are back and forth in your own minds about holding on or letting go. Nine of Wands is like we're at a standstill here. We're going in different directions, or we know we want different things, but we're at a standstill. Ace of Wands and the Magician. And then the World. It feels like there's going to be at least one more conversation by the end of the month that might not be the nail in the coffin, so to speak, but it's like the next nail out of a series of nails in a coffin. So I don't know if it's necessarily by the end of the month, but it does feel like at least the energy right now is the two of you going in separate directions, like wanting different things or focused on different things. I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Okay. Um Oh, you know what? You might be kind of holding on because you know that in some way you're sent to help this person heal, and it may be your empathy that's struggling to let go for some reason. Bless you, just made me think that. Advice from Metatron for me regarding my next chapter. There's a need to address the fear of being seen, perceived, or the fear of vulnerability. People are going to start to be sent on your path that align with what your next chapter is, but you need yourself to show up kind of out of maybe a bit of like protective shell that you had previously. Any messages from my mom? Take It Easy by the Eagles. 2013 may be significant. It says 2013 remaster. Well, I'm running down the road trying to loosen my load. Whatever changes you're recently making, you're being guided to stick with them. It's going to take some time, but you are heading in the right direction. There's a need to kind of celebrate yourself for something that you shifted recently. Almost like the message of the old version of you would not trust herself enough to make the decisions that this version of you is making, and there's a need to acknowledge that and be proud of yourself. Let me go to this list. Please remember super chats are now closed because I don't know how long I'm staying on, but I'll finish these ones. How to get over the images I've seen on my husband's phone and have peace with myself and stop hurting from it. I need to let go, but trust issues are still a factor and the hurt is still there. It feels almost like needing to kind of start to document your feelings, almost like if they're all bumper cars up here and right now they're all smacking into each other, and if you can kind of get it out in like a cohesive or even like jumbled way, it's like you can start to unpack it, almost like there's so much that you're ruminating on in here, and rightfully so, but if you can start to express it, it's almost like through the expression of it, you start to magnetically draw in opportunities to unpack or address or heal those things. Almost like in writing it out, it's a different layer of accepting what you're in the process of figuring out how to accept. Um, I feel like that's the first step of multiple steps, but that step helps you see what the next step is, if that makes sense. What is the Kinser family secret? Someone who is viewed as trustworthy has a dark secret. Some kind of bad either someone who is respected has an issue in which they took bad advice, or someone who is respected took some kind of offer or deal at something that they would not have wanted to, but they were backed into some kind of corner to keep somebody else from finding out something. In order to keep this person from finding out something, either I took bad advice or I made a bad deal, something along those lines. What about my mother-in-law that just keeps me from not wanting a connection with her, aside from not trusting her and thinking she tries to overstep? What about my mother-in-law that just keeps me? It's like you know that any chance she gets in the future to use something from now against you, she will. Almost like you're anticipating her being someone who is almost like collecting notes of how to later use it against you if she has to. Whether that's to make herself look better in some way, or whether that's if you do something that pisses me off, I'm going to tell you this and that type of thing. Almost like you're thinking 10 steps ahead, and this feeling of like overthinking everything you're saying or doing because you know that there's a potential for it to be flipped or used in a weird way. So you get stressed out from the overthinking that you're experiencing because you're thinking, okay, how am I being perceived, or how could this be used differently type of thing. Do my parents have any messages for my sister and I? I feel like this one's a little bit of like a joke message. Maybe you'll know what that means. Only the Good Die Young by Billy Joel. But I feel like, and Peaceful Easy Feeling by the Eagles. Hierophant, them being together. Certain things that don't work out for you are not working out for a reason. It feels like there's some frustration. Message for my sister and I. It feels like there's been one consistent frustration with at least one of you, and it's almost like trying to grab at something and it just keeps slipping away, and that's a form of protection there. It also feels like whoever's healing from this feeling of being locked out of your feelings or emotions, there's this message of like you've made a lot of progress, or almost like the feeling of a frozen heart is thawing out. It's starting to come back to life type of thing. Um There's a message of not taking a conversation personally. I don't know if that's between the two of you or that's for one of you about a conversation that may have been triggering or difficult. Song and a token. Alarm clock with number 7. Get back to the other playlist. Oh, that's the wrong playlist. Hold on. Do the math by abstract. We're further than we should be at. Whatever this, almost like people being sent in to cause you this painful ending, whatever that was, time is up on. Almost like there was this, you get 3 tries to stop me and the 3rd try is up. So whatever, either this is like a shadow wound that's been like coming for you, or this is like different people interfering, whatever it was that was consistently at least 3 times showing up in like a trying to cause this way. The last attempt is done, or the last try that they had is over. Why I cannot compete with this cycle. I'm doing everything. I cannot understand how self-love can be so painful, but I cannot go back and choose her over myself. I feel like there's this a need to accept that it was your love that made this person feel so magical. And what you feel to be missing right now the most that your brain is reading as this person is actually the version of you that you felt secured into when you were with this person. So really a need to shift focus to, it's not necessarily that person that you're mourning to that extent. You are mourning that person, but that person was putting a Band-Aid on the wound that was keeping you from the most authentic version of yourself. So it's almost like you're really grieving the version of you that had that Band-Aid over the wound, that the wound is now exposed. So right now you're like, oh, I don't want to be this version. This version is painful, but really this version always had to come. This Band-Aid always was going to have to be ripped off. So the more you focus on healing that specific wound, the less you'll be inclined to want to go back to the version of you that you were with the person wound. Message from my mom and a song. I'm going to go back to the other list after this one. You can't always get what you want by the Rolling Stones. I skipped it and then I felt like I had to go back to it. Ace of Cups, King of Wands. Not all rejection is because of you. Sometimes it's people who just don't align with you and don't align with what's next on your path. And keeping them in your way would prevent you from moving forward. So sometimes our angels and ancestors and our loved ones have to kind of step in and flick a person off of our path that was only standing in our way, that we weren't seeing it as that. It feels like this was a little bit ago, but there's some hurt that's kind of left over from this. And the message is a perspective shift in looking at it that way will help you to let go of whatever cord you're still kind of gripping onto, trying to understand. That could be a person or a situation. All right. Focus for November. That one. A message from Eric, my guide. Bigger Than by Justin Jesso. Interesting. Devil, the Emperor, and the Hermit. You get tested the most before it's time to level up. Whatever it is, it's like you've been trying to push this boulder up over a hill and you're nearing the top of the hill, and that's when the most force will be pushing back at you. There's a feeling of something beginning to make sense very soon that you've been uncertain about when it comes to that boulder. Almost like, why am I still pushing this boulder? It's going to make sense soon. Any messages for me from my dad or grandmother? Days Like This by Van Morrison. When it's not always raining, there'll be days like this. When there's no one complaining, there'll be days like this. Well, my mama told me there'll be days like this. This is a message of hang in there, because the dark cloud that's following you around isn't going to continue following you around forever. You've taken some kind of right action and you've shifted perspective away from the issue so the solution can find you. There's a need to surrender to patience. Surrendering to patience will help ease your mind so that you can see a solution that will soon be presented. Oh no, where am I? What shadow do I need to work on? What shadow? Inner critic and psychic attachments. So your inner critic, because of an outside to in attachment, it feels like the way that somebody else made you feel about yourself is what your inner dialogue is now repeating. So there's a need to reframe the way you view yourself without that person who hurt you's projections. So like, let's say someone walked away or someone left you with like unanswered questions. It's like now subconsciously you're trying to convince yourself, okay, that's not that important anyway, or my feelings aren't valid. It's like you're gaslighting yourself into feeling the way that that person made you feel, but subconsciously. So it's like a need to address where that may be showing up in terms of internal dialogue or inner dialogue. 1 second, let me change this back. Strong Enough by Cher is the song that came on. Any message I need to know or a message from my mom? Resurrection by Ryan Oakes. Interesting. It's time to put down whatever you've been carrying that's like this, almost like you were wearing rose-colored glasses trying to see the good in a situation that had kind of been tainted. And there's a message to take off the glasses because you're ready to face the truth of it, to put down a burden that was never yours to carry, for the healing that comes from it. And it helps you take some kind of leap forward. Does my future husband have any children already, and has he been married before? Children? Married before. Married before, I think, is a strong possibility, or at least maybe like an engagement that had been tainted. This is like something serious really broke me when it ended. Children, I don't believe so. Message from my guardian angel, Nathaniel. Okay, well, he's bringing some friends. Master Hilarion and Archangel Raphael. Oh. It's like a group effort to support you right now. Almost like I'm calling in the backup, or I'm calling in kind of like this energy of like a bunch of people running down this hill into this like rivet. Is that what that's called? Like a valley, running into the valley to all like carry you up this hill. So you're being carried through the struggle right now, because you're making a very purposeful effort to not let your mind get away from you. So they will help to ease your mind because you've put in the effort to not let it get run away with you or from you. Message from my dad. Butterfly Kisses by Bob Carsley. You recently came across something that triggered some kind of emotion in you, and the message is that was for a purpose. Almost like a switch being flicked on your emotions, like it maybe was like in the off position and this was meant to flick it to turn back on, because there's something that you're meant to be either learning from or choosing based off of the emotions being teacher. So whatever it was that recently, I'm almost wondering if you found a picture you didn't expect to find or something, or maybe you're about to, but it feels like whatever has recently or is about to trigger you is not a punishment. It's like, sit with those emotions because it leads to some kind of revelation. In case anyone's wondering, it is 11:27 right now here, and I'm at 10:40 in the questions. Oh, I did that one. Terms of agreement. Is my mentality not okay? Dementia, maybe. Is my mentality not okay? 3 of Cups. It almost feels like there's a bit of what is that called? Functional freeze state. But it also feels like there's something deeper going on. This rock in the background drew my attention. You know how like the glacier, you see a little bit above the water, but like it's a whole mountain under the water. It feels like there's something in effect like that. Like you're seeing a little bit of something that is deeper implications, but it also feels like there's this functional freeze state that may be preventing you from getting answers in some way, or a functional freeze state that is keeping you from making some kind of preventative type changes. I would say there seems to be a need to kind of look into this. It does kind of running deeper than what you can see on the surface is how I'd word that. Something running deeper than what you see on the surface. Will we get justice for my dad's wrongful death? I feel like they're going to at least attempt to come to you with some kind of what is that called? Like take this deal and make it go away so that it's not the full justice. But the 3 of Cups is a celebration, so it's almost like if you don't accept that, then there's the potential to fight for the justice. King of Pentacles feels like they're going to try and make you some kind of offer in lieu of what you would view as justice. It feels like there's potential for you to kind of maybe not take that and still fight for what you would view as justice in this case, but it feels like that's going to be a very long road with the Three of Wands. Not that it's not possible, but it's almost like the path forks and you can choose which direction is best based off of what you feel is right for the situation. Is my brother actually related to my family? He was adopted. Let's do this. Brother, family. Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Wands. Interesting. Energy between. Brother, Seven of Pentacles. Family, Seven of Wands. Like a fish out of water. This is the child. See how the bird's holding the third sword there? It's not in the heart. It does feel like there's some kind of connection that's unseen, but almost like if it was a more distant connection and for some reason is being presented as what it is instead of that. So I feel like you may be considering like a specific person being related to him, like not in an adopted way. It feels like it's further removed than that on the family tree, like a distant relative type of thing is kind of how it feels. Anything you can share with me? You're taking back your power over whatever struggle you've been in. See how this is all dark and gloomy, but this little doorway is like lit up blue here. It's like right now, things are getting out of the way so that you can get to that doorway. But it's going to require some period of rest in order to restore your energy from the process of taking back your power. So there's a need to be patient with yourself because things are shifting, even if it doesn't look like that yet. I've been offered radiotherapy for pituitary tumor, currently on monthly injection. Will the radiotherapy be beneficial or make my health worse? Change this song. I want to see what comes up. Can't Go Back Now by the Weepies. Can't Go Back Now by the Weepies. This is jumping into the unknown. Monthly injection with a radiotherapy be beneficial or make my health worse? I feel like there are certain side effects that may not be fun to deal with, but all in all, I feel like it helps to bring back into balance what the main concern was. So while there may be some caveats to it, it feels like there is progress made. And Can't Go Back Now by the Weepies. We just had the King of Cups, and that album cover has a whale on it. So it's like diving into the unknown to rebalance. I feel like there's going to be side effects, but also benefits. So I guess it depends on how much trouble those side effects give. Who is my guardian angel watching over me? The Empress, giving grandmother, great grandmother. Okay, so the Empress to the Knight of Cups. Empress, Queen, Knight. So this is either grandmother or Nine of Swords. It feels like this person comes to you in your dreams often, or there's a lot of signs in your dreams that would point to like a confirmation of this person. King of Wands, it could be a grandmother or great grandmother on your father's side. Am I still blocking some serious childhood trauma? If so, will I unblock it soon? Page of Swords to Queen of Swords, the moon. So yes, because this is like the subconscious, the unknown, being in the dark. Page of Swords to Queen of Swords. It's like I am defending myself, almost like your subconscious mind is trying to come to terms with, if I remember this, I can't unsee the person that is also involved in its character. Like it permanently changes the way that I see the person that's involved in the trauma that's not me. So it's almost like there's some resistance to showing you all of it, or you remembering all of it, because it's like, once I remember, I can't unsee it type of thing. Why did this just move? Hold on. Let me finish this list really quick. What angle am I missing to help with my niece? I'm trying to help, but can only do so much. Queen of Pentacles. Wheel of Fortune. So it's giving the energy of like lack mindset, leading by example to get the wheel turning, lack mindset. It starts from within. There's something almost like change your mind, change your life type of thing. Like there's a need to teach how to shift perspective so that the battle within can be lessened. Family stressing. Would there be something that you could be like you, your niece, and there's someone else that feels to be close either to you or her? Almost like setting the stage for a safe place to talk, but not forcing the conversation type of thing. Even if the conversation doesn't happen, maybe doing like a monthly type of thing. It's almost like coaxing her into stepping forward into the space being held for her, that she has to trust is being held for her over an extended period of time, if that makes sense. We want to sell our home and farm in April 2025. Will this be good for us to do? I feel like it may take a little more time than you'd like. This is like exploring other avenues. This is feeling like a fish out of water. This is what's holding you back. King of Pentacles and Seven of Swords. It may be that you have to put money into fixing something up that you're not expecting. It may be that there's some non-anticipated expense that comes with it. Not that you shouldn't. I would just say there's a need to know that there may be an obstacle to overcome, and it may be something that these are both pages. So it's like either two pieces of the plan need to get on the same page, or two people need to get on the same page. And it feels like there's initially some kind of challenge with that. Going back to the other list after this one. And this is the last super chat. My father, Hap, transitioned on 8:30. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Does he have a message for me? Page of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. Let me get a song. One second. Knocking on Heaven's Door by Bob Dylan is the song. Page of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, Ace of Swords. Interesting, because I was just getting something about a letter, and then Ace of Swords came. So this can either go two ways. Either there's something that he wrote that he wants you to connect with, or there's this calling for you to kind of connect with him through writing in some way, almost like it's going to help you to work through the emotions that right now feel kind of stuck. It feels like there's this like web of sorts that you're breaking out of, and you feel like right now you're trapped in all the cobwebs of the past, but the clearing is coming, is the message I'm getting. There's a need to kind of let yourself feel all the feelings and rest before trying to move forward. Don't expect yourself to always be okay, because healing comes in waves. And if there's nothing that he wrote to you that you could look back at, I feel like the message is for you to kind of write to him. It will help you work through those emotions. All right, let me go back to this list. Where was I? Have my neighbors been in my home when I haven't been in, and planted a listening device or spy camera in my home so they can hear everything I'm saying? Death, 3 of Cups. It's like trying to get to the bare bones of information about you, but I'm being patient or strategic. I feel like this is more like asking or trying to locate information about you. It doesn't feel like they've been in the home, but it feels like there's some trying to find the skeletons in your closet in some way other than coming into the home is how it feels. Should you get a bug sweep in your home? I feel like it may help you to feel better, but I don't know if you're actually going to locate anything in there on it, like on the bug sweep. What is going on with my kiddos? Why are they so angry and refusing to listen? Fill in the blanks by AMAG. Interesting. Fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks is like my mind is getting away from me, almost like I'm bored, so I'm seeking self-stimulating behavior, and then it becomes a pattern or a habit where I need that behavior to not feel bored. 2 of Wands. I'm having my experience and I'm out. King of Pentacles, King of Swords. We're at, you said kids, right? Kiddos, yeah. Almost feels like there's something going on between them. And there's this energy of like, almost like one-upping one another to see if there's different things they can get away with because they're at odds in some way, even though it feels to not look that way on the surface, or at least it didn't before. It feels almost like needing to force them into like a new hobby of sorts, like stimulating a different way to get that dopamine hit than bad behavior, and bad behavior or angry behavior started because of them being at odds with one another. Now it's like in a habit to outdo one another in that way, if that makes sense. Message and song from my dad. American Girl by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Kind of giving 3 of Swords energy. 3 of Cups, close enough. 2 of Cups. He's proud of the way that you never let the water from other people's oceans get in your boat and sink it. And there's a need to remember that about yourself. There's a need to remember right now that you aren't the type to allow other people's stormy seas to sink the boat that you are sailing into calmer waters in. 6 of Swords energy. Yeah, 7 of Swords, Queen of Pentacles. The message is it's beautiful watching you ground yourself in your truth. Am I accurate about having a past life as D? This would be the old version of self, the one who's striving to become this look in the past, looking ahead towards growth, now looking to the past towards how far you've came. Judgment, the graveyard would be a past life bridging over into this life. I would say yes. I'm going to try and do speed one so I can try to catch up, and then I'm going to hop off in a little bit. What does 2025 hold for me? Integrating whatever planning you're doing right now. This is like strategy, logic, putting the pieces into place. This is like preparing to, and then this is stepping into the abundance of. So it does feel like there's some strategy that you're either considering or starting to put into place this year that unfolds in 2025. It feels like something career related starts to move forward, or something that financially was draining starts to be alleviated. And that seems to be kind of where this abundance mindset starts to come in. Lost my stepdad in July. Does he have a message for me? Heaven's Not Too Far by We Three is the song. In July, stepdad. I feel like there's like a lack of goodbye here, or like a quick goodbye, or a painful obviously a painful goodbye, but it feels like there's something in the goodbye or lack thereof where it feels like he's saying to release it, like maybe wish that things could have been said, or there could have been a longer goodbye, or there could have been like more of a heads up of one or something like that. It's like almost like the goodbye that you did have, or the lack thereof, if it was a lack thereof, it's like almost this form of protection to even though it feels more painful now, the goodbye was what you needed it to be to heal. So there's a need to kind of almost engage in self-forgiveness, or putting down the burden of repetitive thought about how you wish it could have been different, because he's still there to talk to you. So if anything feels left unsaid, you can tell him now type of message. All right. Trying to see if there's anyone I did not get. Is it my mother who tickles my neck when meditating? Angel. Judgment. Like the person kind of like in the grave meditating is like you're not awake and like active, but you're not passed away either. 3 of Swords. Knight of Wands. Touching you for comfort. See how the one bird's taken the sword out of the heart? And then the Knight of Wands is like when your mind starts to... when your mind chooses calmness over something that in the past it would have chosen like a quick spiral of emotions out of, it's like she touches you for comfort type of thing. Will my finances get better soon? It's almost like there's a need to take a step back and see a bigger picture of something, to see where different progress could be made, whether that's like focusing on reducing spending. Like when you take some kind of action step that shows that you're problem solving through something that you may not have realized was a problem, you start to align with different solutions. It feels like it may be a little bit more time of stress, but it's going to work out. But it's like needing to take a step back before taking a step forward type of thing. So that may be addressing how you make money, or finding like a second stream of income or something like that. The solution requires a step back to see the bigger picture. Will my brother help if I ask him with finance? King of Pentacles reversed, 10 of Swords. The World. I feel like at least not immediately. Either not immediately or not as much as you need. It may be like, okay, I can help you out for 3 months, not a year or something like that. Or it could be just a hard no. It feels like King of Swords on the bottom. It feels like there may be something that he recently spent on that may be the reason that he may be hesitant. I've been trying to meditate unsuccessfully for years. What am I doing wrong? I either fall asleep or I'm having thoughts about things I need to do. It feels like that's almost like a you know, when you put your computer in like a battery save mode, it feels like when there's something about to come up that you'd veer towards this wound that your subconscious doesn't feel ready to face, it shuts down or it starts to say, nope, I'm going to think about something else. So getting to address that wound that feels to be a family related wound here, that could be abandonment, that could be a mother wound, anything generating from family of origin, it feels like addressing that wound will help your brain stop being like, oh no, we're not going to meditate because I don't want to think about that. Message from my dad. It's both of our birthday today. Happy birthday. I'm trying to think of these lyrics to think if this is the song or not. Okay, so the song is Ready, Set, Don't Go by Billy Ray Cyrus and Miley Cyrus. And I don't want to change it, even though I don't think it's meant to be taken as it's sang. I think because it's a father and son or father and daughter singing. And I feel like there's a message here of you weren't ready to let him go, but there's a call to celebrate the times that you had together, especially today, and not think of them with heaviness. At the starting line of the rest of my life, ready as I've ever been. It feels like this is the first birthday since his passing that you've been ready to, I don't know if there's like somewhere that you used to go with him or maybe something that you wanted to look at like picture wise or movie wise or something. It's like you're ready to allow yourself to feel the joy of that memory and not be just burdened down by it. A strawberry. Find the sweetness in it. Find the sweetness in the memory and not just the pain from it. One second. Hold on, I'm going through some repeated ones. 1 second. Should I renew my lease should I renew my lease in January for 1 year or move? Renew, move. I feel like renewing helps you build up the what's that, nest egg? Like I feel like there's a need to save longer before moving. I feel like you'll be more comfortable with the move if you allow yourself a little bit more time to save up. Or it may be like you don't have all the pieces in place yet to make the move transition easy and smooth, and it may be that the ducks need to be put in a row, but I feel like 1 more year will allow for peace of mind when it comes to moving. Who was I in a past life? 5 of Cups, 4 of Cups, 7 of Wands. It feels like you were in constant cycles of like, it's kind of giving like either battling in war or taking care of people who were in war. It's like constant cycles of situations beyond your control that always felt like a lot to deal with. It's like you were always trying to find the exit in a situation that felt heavy. Like deer in the headlights type energy. Like you're constantly in like, don't know what to expect, but have to have a good reaction quickly. It's kind of giving like person in war or that is associated with healing or caring for people that were in war. Will I ever feel happy and know that I'm on the right path? I feel like controlling your thoughts and redirecting them when they're going in a less than desirable direction is always going to be something that you'll have to be mindful of. I don't think it's ever going to go away. Some kind of either fear of the future. Not that it can't, because you can heal the deeper wounds of it, but I feel like it's going to be some time. There is some kind of stability here to be built, though, like one piece at a time. So will things get better? Yes, but will you have to still keep the internal dialogue on track mindfully? Also, yes. My mom needs a sign or anything from my dad. I heard it was already playing. It's Africa by Toto. So Wizard of Oz may be significant with Toto. Gonna take, what's the word? It's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. 7 of Cups. Chariot. He's taking some kind of action to help bring her clarity in something. Almost like a shifting of perspective is going to help her put down this energy of like shoulda, coulda, woulda that is causing her some kind of grief. A mushroom. 75. 75. Oh, magical insights, intuitive messages, and vivid dreams. He may, or his memory in a dream is meant to bring clarity to something, or the sign that she's waiting for will come directly from him in a dream type of thing. She should maybe start to write down anything she can remember from dreams when she wakes up and see if there's any patterns. Will I step into the channeling in a bigger way next year? Oh. Yes, as you face this, feels like a shadow wound. The treehouse is making me think childhood. Inner teen. The key to unlocking the next step in the channeling that you want is through your inner teen, almost like your inner teen rebelling against vulnerability in some way, like being vulnerable with yourself in a new way that your inner teen is rebelling against. And the way out or into the channeling is through that wound. Is the situation with my daughter-in-law true? The World. 9 of Wands. You can trust what you've heard. However, it seems as though there's something attempted to be put behind me. So either you're hearing about something that's already completed, or in the process of completing. It's like, I want to make things better by ending that or putting that behind me. But you can trust the information that you got. I'm going to do about 5 more and then I have to hop off. But I am going to do another subscribers live next week and probably 2 members lives because I have a half hour to make up from this week. Did I emerge with my higher self after I called my power back? Current self, higher self, energy between. Yes and no. It feels like there's still more merging that has to happen because of a mindset that needs to be let go of from whatever you called your power back from. So you called your power back. That's progress. That's a new beginning. Now, another step forward is reframing a mindset that exists because of what you called your power back from. Message for the weekend and token or song. Oh, pumpkin. The other side was a ring. Oh, your husband probably. And then I turned it over and there was a pumpkin. Halloween was yesterday. Did you get some kind of sign from your husband yesterday? Or some kind of message? It's almost like a walkie-talkie over and out. Like you understood that message correctly. 10 of Cups, 6 of Cups, something relating to family. Whatever message or sign you just received or are about to receive is supposed to help confirm something you know to be true about the past as it relates to family. So there's a need to trust yourself. The pumpkin makes me think of like something that tried to disguise itself. You see the truth of. You see you see beyond the mask of or beyond the veil of. Token. It's like kind of like symbolism like tarot, but on buttons that can kind of show up as like messages in some way. Same concept as tarot, but like little buttons instead. How can I work on myself to achieve more? There's a need to get comfortable being uncomfortable here when it comes to I work on myself to achieve more. Reestablishing what it means to be in a state of surrender to your intuition and your higher self. It's almost like starting to document what intuitive messages, signs, and directions you're getting and starting to build a way to take action off of them. That helps reparent the part of you that feels like maybe you didn't always have the tools to give yourself the best advice in the past, and that helps you trust yourself to make decisions going forward. Okay, more, and then I have to hop off because I have to get to the post office. What actions can currently help my career path? The Cups reversed, Knight of Pentacles. So you have the Knight to the King of Pentacles and not walking away from something. So there's an idea that you've already had that you have the seed of that just needs more watering and nurturing. So it can go from this idea to this stabilized energy. It almost feels like needing to be a student of something that you already are beyond the beginner level at, but needing to what's that word? Revamp a skill you already have, but in a more tunnel visioned way. So like, let's say, this is not going to be a good example, but let's just say like you like teaching 8th grade. This is like, I want to be a math teacher of 8th grade. That's not a good example, but like tunnel visioning it in that way. Will I have a solution to my issue soon? Time is running out for me. I feel like not as soon as you need, and it feels almost like things are gonna get a little bit more tricky before there's a solution found. There is a light in the darkness, but there's also some kind of painful ending because of things taking longer. Um, it's like you can't see how to restore the balance. I feel like, how do I word this? There's a need to act with the knowledge that it's gonna be down to the buzzer on something, and if it doesn't go your way before the buzzer, how would you be able to recover? It feels like there's a need to view it in that way, and you can start to kinda pull things together, but I feel like it is gonna prove to be a bit difficult. That's not to scare you, just to kinda if you look at it in that way, maybe it'll help you to shift perspective type of thing. Dave, A, and me, any chance? Dave, you. I mean, both of these cards that are not in the camera view, both of these cards are about some kind of commitment. We have the Hierophant, which is a commitment, the Four of Wands, which is like coming together for the commitment or the actual act of it. I feel like it could go there, but I feel like there's a need to make sure that you two are on the same page about what that would look like for each of you and what you desire in that way. It feels like there may be some fundamental things that you will have to consider, um, almost about like the way that this person needs to divvy up their time or something. I don't know if they're like very career focused or something. I feel like there's potential here, but there's also a need to have one of you has a lot on the line when it comes to this. There's a need to communicate even when it's uncomfortable to not not put yourself into a position where it seems like it's going somewhere and then hits a brick wall. There needs to be communication. Mm. What is coming up for me in November? You're making a decision that helps you avoid a tower moment and puts you on the path for a new beginning. There's a need to trust what your lessons before have shown you when it comes to if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck type of thing when it comes to a certain experience or pattern that's showing up. Will my husband beat trial? These all just fell out. Is it possible they'll offer him some kind of this is like I offer you a deal that you're kind of in the dark about. This is a fear or concern that you have. Feels like it's not going to be as bad as what you're fearing, but it almost feels like an offer that I feel like I have to take that I don't necessarily want to take, but it's better than the alternative, if that makes sense. I don't know how I would word, will he beat it? It's kind of like yes, yes, and no. It feels like there's a compromise reached that isn't ideal, but is better than the worst case scenario. All right, I'm going to do two more and then I have to hop off. I tried to catch up as much as I could. Some encouragement. Where focus is where you will yield some kind of results. There's something that you're trying to crack through here, and it feels like it's two different pieces of something coming together, like an intention and an idea, or like a manifestation and a connection, or something like that. Where you're choosing to put your focus is going to be paramount right now, because there's a need to take your focus away from something that's not allowing you to have enough energy to pour into bringing these two pieces together. Message from my higher self. And you wrote this at 11:11 a.m. my time. Oh, I'm really behind. Whatever it is that you just like wiggled through, almost like you were between some kind of rock and hard place and you wiggled through it, it's behind you now. You completed whatever the lesson was of it. And it almost feels like the image of somebody watching you overcome something and that making an impact on like a leading by example type of thing. Oops. Is Coco ready to go over the Rainbow Bridge? This is giving I've fought very hard. I've done what I can. This is my divine authority card, and this kind of looks like a bird going over this mountain that's a bridge. I feel like the answer to this is somewhere along the lines of I'm ready when you are, or like I'm okay either way when you're ready type of thing. It's kind of giving like a hurry up and wait, like almost like pick a date or make a decision in terms of like how much, maybe like we'll wait to see if things improve until X date, and then if not, or just picking a date. It kind of feels like that is the best way to word that, like picking when you're going to make the final decision. All right, last one, and then I have to get off. We took in a homeless family. Will this all work out? It feels hopeless right now. It doesn't really look that promising. It looks like there's some issues here. 8 of Cups is walking away unfulfilled from some kind of 5 of Wands. I fought really hard to not feel in this constant state of either defense or like I need to either walk on eggshells, or I need to be in a state of hypervigilance. Hypervigilance seems to be the word. Almost like the hypervigilance needed becomes worse or more intense. This is a card about disappointment. It feels like you end up disappointed here. All right, everyone, I have to hop off. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and thank you to my mods. I don't know if there's still spots open, but I opened the November spots this morning for readings. If you were an October spot, you should have your reading. If you are a mod who put in your reading in October, you should have that as well. So if anyone does not have theirs and you put in for one, please email me. I'm going to do 1 subscribers live and probably 2 members lives next week. And then hopefully stay on that kind of schedule going forward. And hopefully true crime next week. I couldn't get to it this week. I ran out of time. Okay, that's all. Thank you everyone for being here. I will talk to you soon.